2 games on Saturday to get Week 18 started. The Browns are at the Ravens late afternoon. Bengals at the Steelers in the evening. The Ravens clinched the division title with a victory. And I think the Steelers still have playoff seeding, wild card seeding potentially at risk, but they'll know by the time the game starts whether or not they have an opening to win the division. And that's kind of an advantage to the Bengals because the Bengals clearly need to win this game and sit back and hope for the Broncos and the Dolphins to lose on Sunday. But if the Steelers have the division championship air out of the balloon by the time the game starts, that does give Cincinnati a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, I agreed there. It's a iffy situation. You want to win the division, right? Certainly if you're Baltimore, you want to have the home playoff game. You'd like to not have to kill yourself to get that done and maybe be able to take your players out. But, yeah, I mean, of course, I would think we're going to see Baltimore at full strength to start the game, and they're going to hope that they can dominate the game and get guys out of there in the third or fourth quarter appropriately. And I would expect that because Cleveland seems like it is a clear tank, right? If they wanted to really win the football game or try to do anything like that, Jameis Winston would be back starting at quarterback. That's just plain and simple. They have no chance of winning a football game with DTR. That's the one thing we have learned here the last few weeks. If they don't have an elite run game, they can't seem to do it with him at quarterback. So, yeah, I think the Ravens are sitting here pretty. They're at home in the game, and I expect them to win the game.
The line the last I saw was something like 18 points, 18.5 points, something ridiculous like that for Browns-Ravens. And you're right, and I'm glad you're on board with this. The Browns are clearly tanking.
Right.
They're not going to say it. The first rule of Tank Club is don't talk about Tank Club. This is the team that 7 years ago had a bonus system that rewarded stockpiling salary cap dollars for the next year, building up extra draft picks for the next year, i.e. not prioritizing winning this year. And it feels like they're doing the same damn thing because they're stuck with Deshaun Watson's contract for 2 more years. They need draft picks. They need high draft picks. They need to replenish the roster with cheap talent because they got so much tied up in Deshaun Watson. They don't care about winning. They're used to losing. They had their playoff run last year. They're going to reload for another one. That advantages the Baltimore Ravens. And also, Chris, we've talked about this. Lamar Jackson getting a closing argument on a standalone national platform this weekend to try to overtake Josh Allen in a race that hasn't even started yet because nobody's cast a single ballot. That's the thing that's ridiculous about all these people betting on MVP. There are 50 votes that haven't been cast. The ballots are due next Wednesday, and Lamar Jackson has the opportunity to get recency bias on his side by having a huge game on Saturday, and Josh Allen, a game that falls into the cluster at 1 o'clock Eastern on Sunday that not many people are going to be paying attention to.
You're right. And I don't think I don't think a lot of people's minds are made up here as far as this. And it's close, like you said, and like we've talked about. I mean, it's as close as I can remember an MVP race. Lamar's certainly deserving of it. We both were, I think, astounded that it was like 4 weeks ago people were going, oh, it's locked. Josh Allen has it. As it stands right now, I would probably vote for Josh Allen because of the things we said Monday. I think the MVP is a little bit about moments. Josh Allen's had more moments this year. But if Lamar goes out there and has another incredible showing and a big statistical day and Josh Allen doesn't look all that great and they're a little sluggish, yeah, it doesn't matter about those moments. People are going to vote for Lamar Jackson, and that's what's going to be interesting.
And for the Bengals and the Steelers, look, the Steelers have had 3 bad games, 3 straight losses. Probably the first team in NFL history to lose on a Sunday, then a Saturday, then a Wednesday.
Right.
3 losses in 10 days. They need to turn this thing around. They need to come out and have a big performance, even if the division title isn't theirs to be had. I think it's important. Russell Wilson talked yesterday about flushing the losses. They need to go into the playoffs, kind of like what you were talking about earlier with the Packers.
Exactly.
And how they looked sluggish against the Vikings. And really, even though the final score was 27-25, they got whooped by the Vikings. Right. They had a chance to steal it at the end, but they got whooped by the Vikings. The Steelers got whooped by the Chiefs, and they've had 3 straight losses, and they do not want to go into. And if they, you still want to work it out, so you're the 5 seed and you go to Houston. I saw the difference in the spread. If they go to Houston, they're favored by 1.5. If they go to Baltimore, they're 7.5-point underdog.
Yeah.
They need to set themselves up for a good first-round matchup.
Definitely. And you hit it. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's very much like Green Bay. How could you not play this weekend? How could you not play, or at least go out there and try to play well? you've kind of been controlled in 3 straight games, Ravens, Eagles, Chiefs. Like, it wasn't really close on the scoreboard. The other team was clearly better. So you got to think they want to get that bad taste out of their mouth that way. But at the same time, we know the Bengals are hot. That offense is hot. They know how to play Pittsburgh. And I do wonder something you brought up earlier, because we saw this just a few weeks ago. The 49ers were getting ready to take the field against the Miami Dolphins, and they found out they weren't going to make the playoffs right before the game started. And they didn't look like they had the intensity you're used to seeing from the San Francisco 49ers. I worry about that with Pittsburgh, like you talked about, where, oh, wait, Baltimore did win the game? Oh, yeah, all right, so we don't have a chance to win the division, and it's kind of a letdown. And they don't play their best. That's what I would be really worried about if I'm Mike Tomlin in that scenario.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.